Mike. Sunday papers, Greg and Mike. Read all about it. Read all about Sunday papers.
Read all about it. Read all about it.
Watch that voice.
Extra. Coming here from Austin, Texas, the mothership. Also, Nashville, Tennessee, the Ryman Auditorium.
Here we go. Covered, man. We have it covered.
Here we go. We are coming to y'all from the South.
You know, my headphones sound better in backwards. Have you ever put these in backwards? The
No
Apple?
kidding. Really?
I'm going to put them back in. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that means I'm dying.
I sleep with them in every night because my wife goes to bed.
Oh, so much better.
And I listen to audiobooks, and so I have to listen to them with the headphones in, and I wake up in the middle of the night with sharp pains in my ears because the earbuds are still in.
Do you also wake up with a sharp pain in your heart that your marriage is a joke?
Oh, wow, that hit hard.
We share a bed, but not really any emotional space.
Yeah.
I'm listening to books about old white men, and I'm closed off entirely.
We have so many activities in bed except the main one. A lot of distractions.
All right, we caught up a little before we pressed record, but it sounds like the most amazing comedy venue I've ever heard about down there.
Yeah, I'm at Rogan's Club, the mothership. And it is like they took 3 years to build it. And it is a 3-story, 2-theater place that has a green room that puts any green room you've ever seen to shame. It's huge. It's catered by the best barbecue place in Austin every night. It's got a bar. It's got 2 screens so you can watch the shows that are going on. And then the showrooms themselves. I did the small room the first night, and it felt like the original room in the Comedy Store, which is saying a lot. It was totally intimate, totally connected, unbelievable. I got a standing ovation on the second show. Thank you very much.
Amazing. That's so cool.
Yes. And then last night and tonight I'll be in the main room, and that one is. It's just explosive. It's just so amazing. And the crowds they're comedy crowds. They love comedy. They know how to behave. They're great. They're young as shit. My crowds are usually like people in their 30s and 40s. These are like 20s. And the energy is so different. It's just amazing. And then after the shows, and meanwhile, I was in one room, and in the other room, the lineup was, ready for this? Shane Gillis, Ari Shaffir, Mark Norman, Tony Hinchcliffe, a guy named Brian, what's Brian's last? Brian Simpson, black guy out of L.A. who's a fucking killer.
Yep.
And then the next night, Tim Dillon. And so afterwards, we go down to this place called Mitzi's Place, I think, in the basement. It's a speakeasy with like cool little booths carved out of the wall. The setup is the bar from The Shining. He replicated the bar from The Shining.
That's
and
hysterical.
Then it's like a little speakeasy. And I was there till 4 a.m. with all those guys, just hanging out.
Lloyd? I think the bartender's name was Lloyd.
His bartender was Lloyd, and every time he kisses a woman, she turns 100 years old.
It's a perfect place.
And they're all everyone's on mushrooms, the whole fucking place. The staff is allowed in Mitzi's room as well. And it's just a community. There's all the same people that are around a lot. It's just an amazing experience. And then Adam Egget, obviously, hanging out, who's the greatest dude ever, who asks about you, loves you.
Oh, yeah. No, he and I met and he was Norm's driver when I met him. A really good friend of Norm's, obviously, but Norm needs someone to drive him. Never got a driver's license, so that's how I first met Adam.
Yeah, and then Norm wrote about him in his book. He was the stooge in his book. It was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Great time. Great. I got 2 more shows tonight. Everything's sold out. All the shows are sold out. Selling a lot of pins.
Cool.
Yeah, selling a ton of pins. Crazy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Hysterical. At an
Yeah.
expensive family dinner, you like, oh man, that's 24 pins. All right, whatever. Like easy come, easy go.
I literally go through my life when something costs $10 and I'm thinking about where to get it. I'm like, it's a pin. It's a fucking pin.
Just do it. It's a pin.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Starbucks coffees all of a sudden don't seem worth it. Just make coffee at home.
Right. You know, you and I should come up with some merch for this podcast. We did the mugs, but it was a pain in the ass because some of them broke during shipping. Shipping costs were very high. So if anybody has any ideas for merch for the podcast, send them in.
All right,
Denman
here's
is
Chris.
writing in can coolers, bags, golf towels. Can coolers not a bad idea. That ships easy.
Hoods you wear over your head? What? What would that be? Pillowcases you have eye holes and you wear over your head. Weird. All right. Maybe.
Weird.
We'll consider it.
SS caps? What does SS stand for?
Tiki torches. What? Wait, these are the
Wow,
weirdest
That is
suggestions.
so, and he's an NCAA, not NCAA.
NCAA.
He's an NAACP. I never realized it's an anagram. It's the same letters almost.
Yeah.
Um,
You're going to get a correction on anagram.
Yeah. So what's going on with you? How's Nashville?
Nashville's good. I was up at 5:50 though, so they're my shift. But there's these two puppies. I guess they're puppies. They're like 7 months old, and I don't know. Some dogs sleep late, and they were really tired. And but I don't know if anyone has tips on how to condition a dog. Maybe there's a trick, like you feed them later at night or something, because they are starving in the morning. I've checked out. I haven't owned a dog full time in over 10 years. So, or about 10 years.
Oh, you just put your dog down, right? Or you put your ex-dog down?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird saying my dog. I mean, it is, but I didn't live with the dog for the last, 6, 7, like 8, 9 years, I guess.
So she got the dog in the divorce.
Right, but we did get to split dog payments, so I got that. That was actually in the divorce contract that up to $1,000 a year or something, I'd be good for that amount, depending on how much the dog cost. And this was a very, very expensive, high maintenance dog. So it was always that maximum or minimum.
That's like $100 a month.
And right, but I don't have a dog. It's like, they say there all the benefits of owning a dog is it's like it helps your stress, you live longer. Well, when you live only with dog bills, it's the opposite. More stress, you live shorter.
Yeah, and no visitation rights? You never got the dog for the weekend?
Yeah, and when you pet a dog, Bill, it's like it's cold, it's inanimate, it's not the same thing.
Wait, so how did you ever get the dog when she went away for the weekend or something?
Sometimes, yes, I would.
Yeah.
But listen, she got it because it was my lifestyle was incredibly unfair to a dog. Like depending on what show I'd be on, I'm not home before midnight a lot of the time,
Right.
So it made a lot of sense. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, we put that dog down. It was really old. I think I told you about it. I went over to say goodbye to it, and she lives pretty far up in the hills. And as you know, in LA now, like it's even down by us, it's coyote craziness. Like they're everywhere, hopping in yards and taking cats and little dogs. So anyway, the decrepit old thing was out there. It's blind, but its favorite thing to do at the end of its life was to eat dog shit. And so they normally stop it, but they were just letting it go to town in the backyard. And it was out there, and I turned to Olivia, and I'm just like, normally I'd be very afraid. We're putting it down the next day. I'd be very afraid of a coyote, but, that things could be a lot worse than if a coyote swooped in right now. Like, you save a lot of money tomorrow, and it's nature's way.
Yes. I think
Although that coyote would have a big stomach full of dog shit. Yeah.
I want to eat this dog, but it's breath. God.
Yeah.
We should give a shout out to Bert's movie. The Machine is out in theaters.
Yep.
Go see it this weekend. It's getting great reviews from users on what's the site?
Rotten Tomatoes or
Rotten
Metacritic.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is great about it, and trailer looks amazing. I can't wait to see it.
Luke is in it from Star Wars. That's
Mark
all
Hamill.
I know him as. Mark Hamill.
I want to thank this week's logo designer, Bruce Wise, who does a lot of good stuff for us.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, very funny. The song "A Crux," I think "A Crux" or is it "A Crew"? I don't know how you pronounce it, but trippy, fun song. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And thank you. A lot of people we called out for new songs and new logos. We got a bunch. Keep them coming. We love them. We appreciate them. We also appreciate your corrections. Tor Strasberg said, Mike tells a female pilot joke. Greg, not even a minuscule facial muscle reaction acknowledgement. Question, did it get missed or ignored? My, what chemistry they have. Oh, Schadenfreude.
My.
I mean, am I
No,
supposed to?
you didn't hear it. You didn't hear it. I think I clocked you not hearing it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't take Ritalin last week, and so I might have missed one comedic piece of genius from Mike Gibbons.
Yeah. Oh, no, it was genius. It kind of is like, I remember saying, I forget what it was. Maybe during the pandemic, there was some like rules with planes, like for, you could cancel pretty easily and get your money back if you felt like either you had COVID or you were just too afraid to fly or something. But I'm like, one of the covered reasons isn't why the reason I get off a plane the most is when I walk in and I see it's a female pilot. That cancellation's not covered.
And I missed that? How did I miss that?
No. It wasn't that. It was a short, quick one about, but basically the same premise.
So basically, I just missed you retelling a thing about something I missed. I just misunderstood it.
Yeah. But also, what you did miss was just a women are bad, like an old chestnut.
No, I'm doing a joke now about how I feel bad for pilots, and I was like, because you just think this guy like grew up, he was probably a little boy who played with planes, and then I'm like, wait a minute, why am I assuming it's a male pilot? I don't know that it's a male pilot. I mean, it could have easily been female. It just seemed like the plane was going pretty straight, and there were no other planes behind us honking, so I just assumed.
Yeah, you could tag and be like, and also it could be a trans woman. Could be a trans woman. That's probably what it is.
On a transatlantic flight.
Yeah.
You want to read the next one because my voice is going.
Trans World Airlines. Yeah. Let me take over some of this for you. Mike tells a female pilot joke. I just want to read that one again. Okay, this one is from, do we say the name?
Sure.
I like this name. Giovanni Delgado. Ford wasn't just a Nazi simp. Strong start. He was a collaborator. Ford made the tanks and weapons for Germany under its German name. Allied bombers were given instructions from higher up to not bomb German weapons factories who supplied Nazis if they were Ford.
Whoa, no shit.
Wait, this is a compact. That's a lot of info. Allied bombers were given instructions from higher up not to bomb German weapons factories. Huh.
Wow. Well,
man.
Enjoy your Mustang, everybody. Hope you're having fun in it.
Robert O'Neill. We talked about mouthwash. Xylitol mouthwash. It kills the bad bacteria, keeps the good, has been shown to reverse cavities. Shit's great.
I read that, and I immediately got on Amazon, and I ordered some, and it's at my house right now.
And is it going to make you shit great? I think I misread the end of that, but you're going to shit great also. Hector Diaz says it was the Florida Panthers, Greg, that scored. This is the Greg corrections. It was the Florida Panthers that scored a goal 5 minutes into the first overtime that got called off.
Sixth longest NHL game in history, and Florida went on to win the playoffs and are now in the Stanley Cup.
Jody Ward, message. Did he write the word message? Anyway, longtime listener, first-time corrector. On this week's podcast, you claimed Nine Inch Nails was not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They were in... he wrote indicated. Am I seeing that wrong?
Inducted.
He meant inducted. They were in... So we have a correction on the correction. They were inducted in 2020. I actually had tickets to this as both my wife and I's favorite bands were being inducted, Nine Inch Nails and Depeche Mode. This is a cool couple.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Nine Inch Nails is very niche. I don't think the average person enjoys listening to Nine Inch Nails. It's nails on a chalkboard. It's electrified nails on a chalkboard.
No, you're crazy. He's such a high-level musician.
Yeah, but when do you put it on? When do you put it on and listen to an album?
What, Nine Inch Nails?
Yeah.
If you're working out, if you're doing something intense, their music's incredible.
All right.
And more than that, and I think this is how a lot of the rock and roll inductees or anyone who's in top of their field should be judged. It's like, did they have a language? Did they create like a sound? Like when you put on a Nine Inch Nails album, like is it their thing? And I think the answer is yes to all those questions.
Okay, fair enough. I'll try again.
Even if it might not be your thing. All right.
I'm going to work out today. I'm going to listen to Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah. I mean, when you're on that treadmill and you just hear, I want to fuck you like an animal, you go.
That's when I kick my treadmill from 3 miles an hour right up to 4.
You got it. He is, by the way, I know we've talked about this. He won very deservedly the Oscar for the music he scored, The Social Network. That music is still... I told you, I had the DVD, a screener, right? And I'm like, this sounds like a Lifetime movie, like the story of Facebook. And so I put the DVD on, and I'm like, all right, let me make some dinner. And it looped like a DVD, the menu, which is 90 seconds long maybe. And it was just that piano and that weird tension, that string, whatever the hell he was. There's documentaries about how he made the sound. And it was just a picture of snow on Harvard Yard, and in the middle of like burning my burger or whatever I was doing, I literally looked over at the TV and I'm like, what is this music? Like I couldn't believe it had that effect on me, and it won the Oscar.
Wow.
Yeah, give him a chance. All right,
Yeah.
Ryan. Oh no, we don't have a name, we do. This is Ryan in Chicago. A correction I made back in February. That's the start, and then there's a period. It's truly mind-boggling that Greg has made the same mistake twice. And is this a No, twice. And this one came in the final 3 minutes of the episode. So close. The character who loves Billy Joel songs is Huey from The Boys, not the girl from The Last of Us. The Last of Us has no Billy Joel connection. That's probably why I like it so far. Please, Greg, start taking ginkgo biloba supplements or something. I'm getting concerned.
I got to say, you may be right. These are the Greg, especially today, these are the Greg corrections.
And you put them in here. So.
You're right.
All right. Ryan in Chicago. Here are my submissions for the most trivial corrections. I love it. You described the hotel manager in Nashville as 15 years old manager rather than just 15-year manager.
Okay.
I wonder, was I talking about that? Or were you talking about a club here?
Well, it's Nashville, so I got to go with you.
It was the story about toe sucking, says Chris.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a Greg correction.
Yeah, because I would have read that story because I'm the one that put it in the script.
Although I loaded that thing last week. 15-year manager. All right, that is a very trivial correction. You're right.
Yep.
The New York Islanders were very good in the 80s. This is from Mark. But they won 4 cups in a row, not 5, 80 to 83. And their dynasty was followed by the Gretzky Oilers dynasty. Also, this past NHL season, the Islanders just barely made the playoffs and lost in the first round. Love the show. Cheers from Canada, of course, the hockey fan.
Yeah.
I think the Islanders, all right, 4 in a row. God, why do I have 5 in mind? Did they skip a year? Chris,
I'm not
can you
sure.
look up how many Islanders Stanley Cups in the 80s?
I remember Dennis Potvin and
Oh,
who are the
God,
other
no,
guys?
no. I hated them all so much.
Yeah.
I mean, as a Ranger fan, it was your duty. It was one of the biggest rivalries in all of sports.
Oh yeah, because the Rangers were amazing back then. They had the Maloney brothers, Dave and Don Maloney, Barry Beck, Phil Esposito is still playing.
Oh, God, I forgot Esposito, yeah.
John Davidson, was that the goalie, or was it David Johnson?
When I got arrested and put in jail, I had a Sandstrom Rangers jersey. I was wearing it.
Nice.
80, 81, 82, 83. Hit me with an 85. That's it. Fuck, all right. Good correction. Good correction, Canadian Mark. All right, Michael Kelly says, hey, Greg and Mike, I was happy to hear you guys mention my home, Newfoundland. And that's how I went with it on last week's episode. Although Mike gave it a good effort, he still said it wrong when he corrected Greg on how to pronounce it. We pronounce it Newfoundland, I think. Not, what? Are those the same? Is this, not Newfoundland.
Newfoundland, not Newfoundland.
That's what it is.
Wow, that might beat out the other smallest correction. And thank God it was something you fucked up.
Yeah. That's like a New Orleans versus New Orleans, although that's even less than that. All right, this week, says Michael Mulroy, you thanked Chris Denman in absentia. It's absentia. Oh, you said abstentia. It's absentia. Also, even though he tried like 50 times, Mike never quite nailed Walter Payton's self-preservation.
You just fucked it up again.
I did fuck it up because I looked ahead at what I was saying. He made up 10 different word salads before finally settling on self-perseverance. Perseverance. Not a word. Did you all forget to take your Adderall? Love you guys. Always pulling for Denny Mac.
Denny McCarthy pulled in not a bad finish last week. I think he came in like 25th. I gotta see if he's playing this weekend.
Is he on the spectrum?
No, he's playing.
I think you have to.
Dude, do you want to go to the U.S. Open in L.A. Father's Day weekend?
It sounds horrible, but apparently, so you walk around and you watch golf?
Yeah. The key is you go on like Thursday before it's too crowded.
Yes, I'm going to say it's a new experience. I've never done it.
All right, let's do it. Speaking of new experiences, I will be doing stand-up comedy. That's not a new experience at all. I started there. Boston, Massachusetts. Laugh Boston, June 16th and 17th. Shows will sell out. Get your tickets right away. Pottstown, Pennsylvania, July 21st. Will not sell out. Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Uncle Vinny's, July 22nd and 23rd. If you're Italian, I think you get half off.
It's family style. Come on, go.
Hey. Let's get to the front page. You got something to crinkle?
Oh, man, do I. I'm in an office. Hold on. Oh, boy. That's a good sounding rapper.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
All right, front page. This is. You want me to read it because your voice?
Yeah, do it.
And I should have gotten water too. This is gonna get old. I might have to run and get water. An Illinois man who appeared with his family on the popular game show Family Feud has been charged with murder in the home invasion death of his wife, whose bullet-riddled body was found after she failed to pick up their 3 kids from school.
Oh,
sounds like
God.
she deserved it. Oh, sorry, I don't know which one came first. Timothy Bleifnick, 39, of Quincy, was arrested Monday morning and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of a home invasion. This brutal crime has had the Quincy community on edge and our residents living in fear, the police chief said. I hope today's announcement can begin to calm some of those concerns. Bleefnick's estranged wife, Rebecca Bleefnick, 41, was found dead at her Kentucky Road home on February 23rd. Now, when police apprehended Mr. Bleefnick, Bleefnick said he'd like to pass. I'm gonna let the guys in the other family have this one. And when he was being dragged away in handcuffs, he was screaming, "Wait, cat was already taken, and so she couldn't think of an animal with 3 letters? How about fucking dog, bat, rat, cow? My wife is a complete idiot." Top 5 answers on the board. Number 1, kill the bitch.
Yeah, he's like, when Steve Harvey made fun of my sweater and did literally a 20-second eye roll that my hobby is macaroni art, she laughed and laughed. Not laughing anymore, is she?
That is, you'll see them on Instagram. They have a very good social media thing, I guess, unless fans are doing it, but they will send out the funniest moments from Family Feud. And Steve, it's the biggest softball in the world. And Steve Harvey that instead chooses just to say nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
He does these slow eye roll takes.
Yeah.
And the crowd goes crazy. They love him in his $27,000 suits. It's so contrived.
And then he eye rolls and he's milking it. I get it. And he's an amazing comedian, like in rooms. I've heard that, right? For sure.
He's
like
a killer. He's a killer.
Oh, he knows how to ride the energy, and that's what he's doing in that moment. And then he says the joke finally, and you're like, no, that wasn't the take.
Yeah.
Like, you should have said nothing. You just gave away that you had the wrong instinct on that meatball that was sitting in front of you.
I used to like the old guy. The creepy guy that used to kiss all the women on the show.
That guy. I like the guy after
Gene
him.
Rayburn. Gene Rayburn.
Nope, not Gene Rayburn. He was in Hogan's Heroes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not
Smooth,
Gene Rayburn?
Pinky Ring. Richard Dawson. There it is. Chris came through with it.
Right.
Hello, love. And he'd kiss him.
Yeah.
That went out with AIDS.
All right. Let's talk about
I remember that.
A group of Carmelite nuns. That sounds delicious.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, please.
You need your voice, man. I don't. A group of Carmelite nuns accused a Texas bishop of pure evil after he shut down their monastery over allegations that their mother superior had sex with a priest.
Yes. Why not? Why not?
The most wholesome news story about the Catholic Church in a long while. According to the lawsuit filed in Tarrant County Court, Bishop Michael Olson burst into the monastery last month and began interrogating Gerlach, the Mother Superior, over the alleged affair and accused Gerlach of breaking her vow of chastity. The grilling came immediately after the nun, who uses a wheelchair,
That's sexy,
had undergone a surgical procedure, even sexier, and was still under the effects of general anesthesia and pain medication, including fentanyl.
Wait a minute. Was the bishop Bill Cosby?
The diocese, is that
Diocese.
Diocese, I knew I had that wrong, says she admitted to the affair, but the sister's attorney, Matthew Bobo, said in a statement to the Catholic News Agency that the Mother Superior was under heavy medication from a procedure and does not recall what she admitted. All right, in a wheelchair, on fentanyl, sounds like Mother Inferior, if you ask me.
There you go.
Meanwhile, women everywhere are like, I can't find a man to save my life, and this nun in a wheelchair is getting laid.
And have you seen her outfit? The least sexy garment I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, crazy.
I guess we can't call her a nun anymore. More like a sum.
Oh, and my wordplay was terrible.
Yeah. I think we can all agree this is a low point for the sanctity of the church, but maybe a well-deserved week off for the altar boys.
Yeah, it definitely stole the show. And then listen, some very wise men once said, he who fucks nuns will later join the church. Except in this case, he already had.
All right, let's talk about this teacher.
That was the
A
clash.
classic. Sunday papers will never shy away from student fucking stories.
Or why don't we just say we're pro-education, and we do a lot of
Yeah.
education stories. A former high school teacher of the year has been arrested in California for allegedly having sex with a 16-year-old boy, and authorities said they believe there may be additional victims, which should be in quotes. Tracy Vanderhulst, a 38-year-old math teacher at Yucaipa High School, was arrested late Thursday night for unlawful sexual intercourse involving a minor and held on $30,000 bail. In a tweet that has since been deleted, the school said that Vanderhulst, quote, offers up a rigorous mathematics curriculum and deep caring for her students. Yep, rigorous and deep. The school also said she wants her classes to be hard. She loves taking D's and growing them into A's. Only the best will get her A. And then it's all about the 3 R's, Greg: reaming, riding, and a reach around.
Wait a minute. That's not the...
It's very close. I was proud of that.
You know, the article doesn't mention that, by the way, the Teacher of the Year award, it's voted on only by the varsity football team. You remember Zach's joke, right?
Yeah, I think I do. Right.
It was. Did you hear about? Did you hear about that boy who was who had sex with his teacher just died? He got high-fived to death.
Yeah. It is a double standard, but I don't know how far it goes.
But, you know, people should have known something was up when Vanderhulst introduced the clearly incorrect algebra equation that A equals 9 inches is greater than 99% on a test.
A little extra credit.
Yeah.
All right. Now off to San Diego. A Southwest Airlines pilot. Oh, Jesus.
What if we both lose our voices on Sunday papers?
Mine is going to be good, I think, even though I have a terrible voice. But I mean, I just need water, which I'll get when you're going to read a story. San Diego, a Southwest Airlines pilot had to make an unusual route to get onto a plane just before a flight to Sacramento. He had to climb through the cockpit window. They had a picture of this. So according to a passenger, the flight agent said over the loudspeaker, quote, somebody who was on the flight coming in was the last one off the plane and shut the door and it's locked. The agent mentioned that the flight would be delayed and someone would need to unlock the door from the inside of the cockpit. And sure enough, he looked out the window and this pilot, to his credit, got up on this giant ladder and crawled through the cockpit window and opened the door. And I'm here to tell you this is still a better system for boarding a plane than what Southwest uses now for its passengers.
He didn't have to stand behind a letter and a number for 45 minutes and then check his bag.
C-27.
Yeah. Dude, I was C-30 on my last Southwest flight. And here's how fucked up Southwest is. Now, they charge you $40 if you want to get a good position on the pole. So it's yet another fucking surcharge for Southwest.
I just did Spirit down here, but I bought this new bag. Oh, they should be a sponsor. But there's this, it's not that new, but there's a popular, it's getting more popular, hybrid bag, which is a backpack duffel. It has like the backpack straps you can hide.
Does it have wheels?
Nope, does not have wheels. It is bigger. Oh, yeah, you should know this more than anyone. I'll show it to you. Patagonia makes a great one, and so does North Face. You know, typically they're just lockstep in competition on these things. Anyway, Spirit charges you, it nickels and dimes you more than Southwest. You have to pay for water on Spirit.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
And coffee, yeah.
Yeah, so free refills, though. I did learn that. So they charge you, so I'm like, fuck that. And here's the great thing, the only good thing, because do you know JetBlue now charges you for carry-on?
No shit.
Yeah. It's a business model. So the only positive about charging for a carry-on is there's tons of space in the carry-on. So what happens is this duffel in no way is small enough to fit under the seat in front of me, right? Like I'm cheating the system.
Yeah.
But if you wear it as a backpack, they don't even look or question you.
Oh, nice.
And then you get on the plane and you have the whole overhead as your choice, even though you're not supposed to be, bring one on, and you put it up there.
I love
It's your
it.
new hack. It's your new hack, I'm telling you.
By the way, since when do planes have windows? A window? Like, does it have a sunroof? Is this like a Camaro? I mean, with those giant wings.
Oh,
it's-
you mean a window that like opens?
Yeah, what the fuck is there a wind? Like, is he in the air going, a little stuffy in the cockpit at 30,000 feet? Why don't I crack the window a little bit? And it's not like you can, with those giant wings, it's not like you can pull through the drive-through. Can I get 237 Big Macs, 12 with no cheese?
Although I think they do crack it. Like, you finished fucking de-icing already? I gotta go. I did see once, and I took a photo of it as well. I was waiting to board, and in the boarding area, and I look out the window, and a pilot is just like you and I would do it, is reaching out with a rag and wiping his windshield.
No shit.
Yeah, like I guess there was a stubborn like streak on it that the windshield wipers weren't getting.
Oh my God.
How strong do those windshield wipers have to be? Also,
Right.
are they really needed at this point?
Yeah, I think they're mostly guided by machines, but like my friend, Ken Fink, he got his pilot's license, and
I didn't know that.
He flew to Catalina Island, and apparently Catalina Island is often covered with like a fog.
Right.
And so it's famously hard to
Oh, God.
land and take off at Catalina. And he was pretty new to it. And he brought Beth with him. And they were taking off, and they were like, it was covered in fog. And he's like, oh, I guess I can't fly out. And they're like, no, it's only like 40 seconds. And then you'll come out of the fog, and then it's clear all the way to Los Angeles.
Oh, my God.
And so he took off and couldn't see shit. And the thing is, you don't know if you're starting to tilt sideways. And if you do, the only way to get out of a tilt is to dip down and then come back out of it again. And so she was screaming. It was like utter horror for like a minute until they busted out into the sky.
That's terrifying. I'm
Yeah.
sure we're going to get corrections from pilots if pilots
Yes.
listen to us about that dip down advice of yours.
All right, why don't you go get a water and I'll read this next story.
Yeah, this is a pretty crazy story. Wait, what
Yeah.
was I going to say about pilots and that? Oh, you know what it's sort of similar to? I asked if they still need like to see. It's kind of like I don't remember the last time I turned around in my car to make sure I wasn't backing into something because
Yeah.
now I have the camera,
Right.
which is a virtual simulation. That's redundant. But in other words, I'm not really using, I guess whatever you'd call it, empirical data. Like I'm not looking anymore.
Right.
And I imagine pilots haven't had to look out the window in forever.
You know what's crazy is I watched that.
I guess maybe to see the guys on the runway with the flashlights.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Okay, sorry, what were you saying?
You know what's crazy is I watched that F1 docuseries about Formula One racers.
Yeah.
No windshields. No fucking windshields on those cars.
Really?
They've got the helmet with the face mask and no windshield.
No, the wind's not hitting their helmet straight on.
The wind is hitting their helmet straight on, and they drive in the rain, pouring rain sometimes.
That seems crazy.
It's true.
The wind alone, because listen, whatever. The scooter I ride, it's an Aprilia, but it's a 250, so it does go 80, and I have gone 80 on it. Wind, when you're above a certain mile per hour, wind is everything.
Yep.
Like the drag on cars is responsible for so much. The Mythbusters did that. At what point is it worth it? Is it less expensive to have the air conditioning on versus the windows open? And it happens because of drag.
Right. You know who?
Okay.
The
Yeah.
Mythbusters guy, Adam Savage. You know that guy.
Yeah.
I grew up with him. He was. He was
No.
in my class for like 10 years. Yeah.
And he proved it was not a myth that you would touch yourself in the back of the school bus going to school. I saw that episode. It's one of their best ones.
He tried to bust that myth, but it turns out dead on.
Yeah. You
all
were
right.
busting it. You were busting it already. All right. I'm going to go get a glass of water as you read about Mr. Musk.
All right. Elon Musk's neurotechnology company has received FDA approval to launch its first in-human clinical study. Neuralink was founded by the Tesla CEO in 2016, focusing on developing a brain-computer interface called the Link. Musk said the company's goal is to develop a surgically embedded neural chip implant to help disabled patients move and communicate again and possibly restore vision. It was tested on monkeys, shocking the world after tests showed one of the animals playing video game Pong with its thoughts. I mean, that's insane. Well, first of all, it looks like the slow assembly line issues on the Model X are about to improve. It's going to be like formerly disabled vets pulling 19-hour overtime shifts and after work attacking the Capitol building and AOC.
Look at my timing.
Perfect.
I should have just laughed coming right into it.
You missed a good one.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, I put this story in here, and one of my favorite things was I delayed that the monkey was playing Pong. That's the craziest detail.
Yeah.
What was my joke on this? Oh, the monkey's like they can finally see my thoughts, and it's with Pong. Like how about Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty?
Yeah.
And then another monkey, by the way, Greg, in the lab had to be put down after playing Donkey Kong. The fucker wouldn't stop throwing barrels at Italians.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, this is I mean, first of all, we get social media, which allows big companies to track everything we like, we think, we prefer, we watch. There's files. Google advertising has files on every one of us. It's 1984 exactly. Then you get ChatGPT, which allows computers to do everything that a human brain can do. And now, here it is, the last step, putting fucking chips in your head that can control your activities and watch your thoughts.
Well, wait. You said watch your thoughts. I mean, I guess so. Yeah. But I mean, in its purest, as stated by Musk, I guess, and it's in the ideal sense for him, it's you can do things. Like I wonder how it would affect, people who can't speak. Like, and how, what's his name's voice? Because he had the machine that talked for him. Smartest man in the world in the wheelchair. Stephen Hawking. Jesus Christ, I got to get some more sleep.
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking, like I wonder how this would affect him. Would he have been able to speak much faster because he could just look at words, or was he already doing that? Maybe it was his eyes. Anyway, it's for people like that.
No,
and you can move
that's the
things.
thing. You introduce this kind of technology with the altruistic functions, but ultimately you always have to think, what's the dark side of this technology? How can this be used to control human beings?
Right, I guess.
Because who can't be improved by a computer? I mean, look at us. We could eventually fire Denman and have chips in that correct everything that we say wrong. We could get rid of the whole correction section of Sunday papers.
They're also going to sell racist chips?
That's right.
Wow. That won't be first gen. That's like second or third gen, I think.
Good news for Gibbons. Let's get a crinkle.
Yeah.
Max Nichols says, I like Gibbons' stories, the man, the myth, the legend, Gibbons. Expand his story, but maybe on 500th episode he comes on. All right, so about 6 years.
How long is that?
What
Yeah,
episode are we on? What number? Denman, what number episode are we on? I'm
gonna
guessing over
guess.
100.
I'm going to guess 131.
I'm going to say 120.
I'm going to say I'm over. So if it's Price is Right, I'm going to change my guess to 124.
Wow, a 4-guess range. Denman says this will be 166.
Man,
Damn.
okay. I think 500th episode is too soon then.
Yeah, I think we got to let it breathe a little more. Did you have something to say about
Yeah.
Gibbons?
So what happened was, he was in Spain. We talked about it last week. And then he said a cousin has a house. Like, he was totally hooked up over there, which is great. And he sent pictures, and it was beautiful. Before he left, though, he told me, and then he might go, he has friends who have a sailboat off of Portugal. And I didn't think anything about it, except that sounds incredible. Like, why are you back? Because he's back now. Unrelated, though, and it was a news story this week. These killer whales, this pod of killer whales off of Portugal, are ramming and trying to sink and sinking sailboats, or any boats, actually. And they will take out the rudder. You know, they're the smartest goddamn things. They will take out the rudder, and then one of them rammed it and caused it to leak. So anyway, this is a bit of an old story the first time it happened, but this week it made news because there was something like 20 new incidents.
No.
And now Portugal has put in place an official system where it's mandatory to report an encounter with these orcas off of Portugal.
Whoa.
Yeah.
My sister's going there this summer. Yeah, I mean, that is truly...
Tell your brother Bobby to rent a boat.
Oh, actually, Bobby's going also. My brother's going. It's hard to imagine a terror worse than being on a sailboat. You can't even see land. And you're getting fucking bumped by killer whales.
Who might be half the size of your boat, you know?
Is the intention to eat people? Are they attacking humans?
They've never, I think I have this correct. I mean, they've never eaten a human. I don't think they've ever attacked a human. And there's plenty of footage of a curious pod coming up to a swimmer, you know? And and it's terrifying when you look at it. And it is really curious. Like, it goes upside down right under the swimmer to look at them.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And all around them. And it's like, oh my God. And they are the apex predator. Great whites are terrified of them. They turn them upside down and eat their liver.
Yeah. Right. Wow.
So
it says here
no
the
recorded
attacks.
attacks. Yeah.
Denman says the attacks last 30 minutes. They hypothesize it's either a fad or one of them had a bad experience with a boat as a youngster and are teaching the others. No recorded attacks on humans in the wild ever. Isn't that crazy?
How is it a fad? Are these fashionable orcas?
Yeah. They're Gen Z orcas. They're looking for stimulation.
They do things that are, go ahead.
They do things that are fads. There was a group that put fish on their heads. Well, yeah, you've seen them flip seals with their tails in the air.
I wouldn't call these fads, I don't think.
Wow.
Orcas do things like fads.
Teenage orcas.
Oh, teenage orcas. Maybe they're just so sick of yacht rock that they're just taking it out on yachts. Because that fad is over, man.
Yeah. Right.
Thank God. Yeah, exactly. Play sailing one more time and the fucking bow is getting it. But
right,
the whale ship, the whale ship Essex is what, and I know we've talked about it before, but is what Melville based Moby Dick on, and that was a sperm whale intentionally, vindictively ramming and trying to sink and successfully sinking the whale ship Essex.
No shit.
Oh, dude, you like falling asleep and being completely isolated and locked off from your wife. Listen to Whale Ship Essex when you're ignoring her in bed. It's amazing. Amazing. I got it on Audible, and it was fantastic.
Maybe I'll listen to it and I'll start ramming her in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and she will just completely separate and split from herself and take lifeboats away from you. That's what happens. All right, here we go. She'll have a lot of semen.
Entertainment.
In her. We missed that one.
There we go. Entertainment.
All right. I know we talked about this a little, but there's an update. Celine Dion took to Instagram on Friday to announce that with tremendous disappointment, she is unable to perform and has canceled her Courage World Tour as she continues to battle stiff person syndrome. Perhaps Courage wasn't the best name for the tour. Maybe Cautious or Careful. How did Celine and her doctors not see stiff person syndrome coming? She had symptoms from day one. And finally, fortunately, Celine's stiff person syndrome is not nearly as advanced as her husband's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, that wasn't a sexual joke. You know he's dead, right?
Oh, got it.
No,
All right.
he wouldn't be stiff for her at this point.
No, but I'll follow that up with my sexual joke. Maybe they could do transfusions from people with stiff person syndrome to people with erectile dysfunction. Maybe that could finally be the cure for all of us. I mean, all of them. Doctors are in the lab now working on a vaccine, but experts say there's a stiff chance it will ever work.
Stiff chance. All right, what is this one?
This is a guy who wrote in, and he was talking about... We mentioned that Nicolas Cage was making bad choices in the second half of his career on his projects. And this guy says that Cage was down $14 million. And he didn't recover from
stuff.
He didn't come back until 2022. He couldn't turn a movie down because the real estate crash put him in $14 million IRS debt.
Whoa.
His fortune, primarily in properties, mostly weird and risky, unsuccessfully sued his manager, refused to file bankruptcy, rolled up his sleeves, and took any paycheck he could for 15 years.
Wow.
I mean, when you think about it, he was always interesting. Even if it was a bad movie, he was worth watching.
Yeah, I wonder what... Did he luck into any roles that were like no one gave it a chance, but it was so weird it worked out? I think he's done
the
some
devil
of those.
one was kind of interesting, where he played a devil.
That's out now, isn't it?
Maybe it's a remake, but the original one came out like 15 years ago.
Oh, all right. No, there's one now where he plays the devil, I think, that's in theaters now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Guy
That's when he's back, though. Anyway.
Here we go. Denman's saying he's playing Dracula in the newest
that's what
one.
it is.
Denman, what was the other movie where he played a devil? He can tell us after this next story. Toby wrote in and he said the term and concept of gaslight comes from a 1930s novel and two excellent movies made in the 40s. You can find them streaming for free. The first Gaslight movie, it's closer to the novel, however. Well, do you want to name them? Stars Ingrid Bergman. Both are excellent, and I'm pretty sure the Ingrid Bergman version is on HBO Max. Give them a watch. I mean, is it called Gaslight? He doesn't say.
I'm assuming it is. One's 40 and one's 44. Maybe he's gaslighting us. There's no such movie. We're going to look forever for it.
Yeah.
All right, it's time to make America Florida. All right,
this is inspirational. This is inspirational. She may not have the same velocity on her fastball as an MLB pitcher, but Helen Kahan still had plenty to be proud of as she threw out the ceremonial first pitch before the Tampa Bay Rays and New York Yankees took the field on May 5th. her 100th birthday.
Whoa.
Kahan stood confidently on the pitcher's mound with her daughter and son. It didn't matter that the throw only made it halfway to home plate. The crowd of more than 25,000 gave her a standing ovation as Rays relief pitcher Kevin Kelly, who caught the pitch, congratulated her with a smile and a handshake. Kasan of Seminole, Florida, who survived multiple Nazi concentration camps, was triumphant. That is amazing. And a beautiful moment, so touching, of course ruined by the Florida Man announcer who said, quote, "I haven't seen a curveball coming like that since von Hindenburg appointed Hitler as Chancellor of Germany in 1933. You know he was an excellent painter? That pitch was slower than the Red Army's push through the 2nd Panzer Group into Leningrad in 41. I mean, that doesn't seem like a good analogy.
What a color commentator. It's pretty amazing.
Was it Chris Denman? Was he announcing that game?
Yeah, he always with the Germany references. Read that in a Dennis Miller. That's funny.
Read that in a Dennis Miller voice.
Because the references are so specific. And, Red Army's pushed through the 2nd Panzer Group into Leningrad in 41. It's like all of Dennis Miller's didn't need 3 of the details.
Yeah. No, that was very 90s, the specific details.
Yeah.
I always loved that. I loved somebody who did their work. You know, Nick DiPaolo always had these really fucking specific jokes.
Yeah. 100 years old. And it's, I don't have a joke here, but they're talking about her daughter and son by her side. Meanwhile, they're like 80.
80 years old. Oh, my God.
Hopefully, they're not older than 80.
They say it only made it halfway to home plate because she wasn't really concentrating.
Yeah, by the way, multiple concentration camps. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know you got moved around.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Maybe she had the Ural pass and was just really taking advantage of all of the German countryside, or Austria also. Were any concentration camps outside of Germany? That's a legitimate question.
Well, Poland had, I think most of them were in Poland.
Like Krakow? Oh, you
Yep.
see? I'm an idiot. I should have known that. Wow, yeah. Okay, here's one. Tampa, another Florida story. A Florida man is behind bars on a $1 million bond after authorities said he stabbed his roommate in the neck while dressed as a cat.
I mean, can you ask more from a Florida Man headline than that?
When I first read this headline, I was like, I would totally stab my roommate in the neck if he was dressed like a cat, misunderstanding that the stabber was the one dressed as a cat. Tuesday evening, a man called 911 to report that his roommate had stabbed him in the neck. When officers arrived, they forced their way into the home where they found the victim seriously bleeding from the neck. Minutes later, 32-year-old Omar Gutierrez, dressed tip to tail in a cat costume, came out with his paws up. Oh, sorry, you wrote that. I just did that on the fly.
That's hilarious.
Sorry, the article says with his hands up, and Greg wrote in here with his paws up. By the way, I didn't think that's how they got him. I thought they'd have to call the fire department and have him come down out of the tree.
Put out a bowl of milk, coax him down.
Like 6 hours. He's all stuck to his little like rope treehouse thing that's in the living room.
Yeah.
You got some stuff here. What else?
Officials are still hunting down a motive, but following up on a lead that the roommate was dressed in gray and had a whisker-like mustache, and at the time of the assault was eating a slice of cheese pizza.
I like that one.
And then my last joke is similar to your joke.
I like it though. He had launched himself onto the curtains and clung there menacingly. All right, what is this? We have a third. Oh, this was just added.
Mike Denman just added this, not Mark Denman. That would have been a correction.
Florida man falls into pond behind a bar and loses arm to alligator. Florida man whose right arm was bitten off by a 10-foot alligator brushed off losing a limb in the attack because, as he puts it, it's not the end of the world. Meanwhile, his attorney is probably like, I told you stop fucking talking to everybody about this.
Well, who's he going to sue? An alligator?
I don't. The bar. If the bar, you can sue a bar if you get in a drunk driving accident. If you got drunk at the bar, right?
Yeah.
Jordan Rivera, 23, fell into a pond behind Bandito's Bar in Port Charlotte on Sunday, shortly before 2 a.m., of course. I didn't lose my life. I lost an arm. It's not the end of the world, Rivera told the news outlet during an interview from his hospital bed. Wow. All right.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you could sue the bar if you fell into a pond. That's like, and the cops come and they're like, have you been drinking? And he's like, I'm in a pond. It's 2 a.m. and we're in Florida.
At 1:50 a.m.
Yeah.
You tell me, officer. But
Let's
how
play.
about, like, they're looking for a location for Bandito's Bar? Why don't we put it steps away from a pond that has alligators that are 10 fucking feet big?
Oh, my God.
I guess 10 feet, probably that's why it didn't kill him, maybe. I guess that's mostly tail. I don't know. Maybe 10 feet is not that big.
10 feet's pretty fucking big.
Okay, then we have, do we do a paper wrinkle for this? Or
No, I
is it
think it's a natural transition.
Well, we asked for Make Florida Australia. This one's called Angry Mom. Video footage has captured the moment a wife mowed down her husband and his lover in a car. Christy Lee Kennedy, 38, pleaded guilty in Brisbane District Court last month to dangerous driving. That's what it was. She found her husband, David Larkin, kissing another woman, Zoe Noring, in the Brisbane suburb of Waverall Heights. The vehicle is then seen in the video smashing into them, sending both of them sprawling to the, what?
Bitumen? What the fuck is bitumen?
I imagine it's an Australian curb. Miss Kennedy then got out of her, hopefully it's not a pond with 10-foot alligators. Miss Kennedy then got out of her car and punched Miss Noring in the face, calling her a fat mole and a slut before getting back in the car and driving off. A jury last year found Kennedy not guilty on 2 counts of a malicious act with intent to disable. The Crown withdrew the 2 assault occasioning bodily harm charges against her last month. Okay.
Yeah, she was acquitted by a jury of Australian women, meaning they had all been cheated on by their husbands.
Exactly. Bitumen, a black viscous mixture of hydrocarbons obtained naturally or as a residue from petroleum distillation. It's used for road surfacing and roofing. So it's asphalt.
Asphalt, basically.
It's tar. It's tar. It sounds like it's tar.
I mean, this is kind of like, I don't know. Isn't there a certain justice if your husband is cheating that you can ram his car and call her a slut, maybe punch her in the face? I mean, she earned it. Maybe the Australians are a little bit more like Old West, like, vigilante justice is okay.
I think she's going to beat this charge like she beat the last one.
That's right.
And I didn't even mean that, like beat. Yeah, she's very violent. She beats everything.
Yeah, she beats
This woman
everything.
beats everything in her way. But no, yeah, you can, I think there's insanity. Isn't there, like, even in the American law, right, that you're temporarily out of your mind if, because, a crime of passion.
I mean, nobody who ever kills or harms a pedophile, and it's their child as the victim, fuck that. That is in their bounds to do that.
Yeah, but it's hard to run a society when that's officially, allowed.
So we
All
got
right.
an update, Nicolas Cage update. Mike was right. Sympathy for the Devil is also out now in addition to the vampire movie. So I guess he's a devil. There's a 2019 movie called Running with the Devil where I guess he, with Nicolas Cage and Lawrence Fishburne, he plays the devil. And then Drive Angry in 2011, he escapes hell and steals Satan's gun. So,
wow.
a lot of satanic themes. And
I remember
he's,
him as a goofy Dracula at one point. Do
Oh,
you have
yeah?
that image in your mind?
No. No, the one I'm thinking of, it was like a Wall Street corporate kind of guys, and he was a devil, and he was like running a Wall Street firm or something.
Pacino.
Oh, I'm thinking of Pacino.
You're pinking a Pacino.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with
And Keanu Reeves.
yes, fancy rich New York.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a lot of busy work for the devil to be an attorney. But anyway,
All right, let's get to sports.
all right, here we go. Paper crinkle.
The Devil's Advocate. It was called The Devil's Advocate. Okay, so last week I talked about loving the Conor McGregor docuseries, and then we got an email from a gentleman named Michael who says that there's another side to Conor McGregor, multiple sexual assault allegations, punched an old guy in a bar for not wanting to drink his whiskey. There's video of that. He punched an Italian DJ after partying with him, punched a fan's phone out of his hand and stomped on it outside a club. I get that. Got into an altercation with Machine Gun Kelly at a red carpet somewhere.
Yep, I saw that.
Attacked a woman on his boat so badly she jumped into the ocean to flee him. So,
And then she rammed the boat and sank it.
Yeah.
She was a little roomy in the hips.
Yeah. She was dressed.
Wait, you missed a funny detail about punching the old guy in the bar.
What's that?
He later bought the bar and had the old guy banned.
Oh, that's great. So anyway, that's that. And then let's do an update. We made a bet last
God.
week. The Celtics were down 2-0.
They were both
three-
down 2-0, Lakers and the Celtics. And I said, I mean, you go down 3-0, and the Celtics might be proving me wrong. But you go down 3-0, and historically, it's no bueno. So
It's never happened. Nobody's ever come back from 3-0 in NBA history.
hold on. Wait a minute. Like ever, even in like division finals?
Never. Well, division finals, I think, are only 5 games, right?
No, they moved him to look at him. Never has happened, says Chris.
Yeah.
I thought it was a Fitz fact. I thought we were up
Yeah.
against a Fitz fact. So knowing that it either only happened once or never, I thought a good bet would be that both teams would prevent it from going 3-0. And I did a parlay, which means I had to win both of them. And the first game did not happen. Celtics went down 3-0.
So
think it
you
was
owe me
Celtics first.
$10.
I owe you $10. Yeah, you
could
gave me
Venmo
odds.
me that. That would be awesome.
You got it. Yeah, I'll buy. Maybe I could buy a pin. Nope, that would be 20, sir.
Tonight's game 6 is in Miami. Celtics versus Celtics. 2 best of 7. What the fuck does that mean?
All right, it's best of 7. It's first one to 4, and Miami's up 3-2. Celtics have won 2. They were down 3-0. They've won 2 in a row, and somehow the Celtics are favorites tonight, Saturday night, on the road in Miami.
Yeah. Well, I think if Robinson can press and Shelton can hit the 3-pointers, they got a chance.
Look at you, sports talker. All right, is this Denman's prediction? Celtics 105, Heat 102.
That's
That's
the
from-
prediction from a betting site.
What is the over-under? Is it right around that? It's 207-ish? No wonder.
All right.
Oh, wait. Does he have it here? He has the lines. No, he just has the spread.
Yeah. All right. Let's skip business and get to this day in history.
Yeah, here we go. Hold on. All right, Denman put this in? I'm joking. All right, you want me to read this because your voice?
Yeah, that'd be great. You don't have to read the whole thing, though. It's pretty long.
On May 28th, 1937, the government of Germany, then under control of Adolf Hitler of the National Socialist Party, forms a new state-owned automobile company, then known as Gesellschaft zur Wohnungsbau des Deutschen Volkswagen MBH. Later that year, it was renamed simply Volkswagenwerk, or the People's Car Company. Originally operated by the German Labor Front, a Nazi organization, Volkswagen was headquartered in Wolfsburg, Germany. Everything sounds so intense in Germany.
Yeah.
From German Labor Front, even to the town Wolfsburg. In addition to his, they really got the memo on consonants being hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even with Nazi. All right.
It's the least sexy language. Like if you've ever watched German porn, it's the least sexy language of all.
Maybe, although all the sexy words are very hard, including fuck, which is a Dutch word, I think, initially.
Yeah.
So it's Germanic. Yeah. So fuck. Oh, by the way, I read this article. Yeah, well, I read an article this week that cunt is like trending like crazy. And I guess women are reclaiming it, is what the article said. And there's sayings like, I'm going to get this wrong, and that's funny. It's fine. But like cunt up, like, like trying to spin it in a positive way, like owning it, like it's fabulous to be a cunt.
No,
And
your daughters taught me to use it like they said, that's so cunt.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And I wonder, Chris, try to find the phrase. You can put it at the bottom of your favorite story here about Hitler. Put it at the bottom. There's a phrase using cunt. And this was a real article in a real periodical that I read, like Vanity Fair or something like that. Anyway, okay. Do I have to read more of the Volkswagen, actually?
No, I think we got it. I just wanted to point out that it's incredible to me with picketing Bud Light and all the shit people talk about because they're educated consumers that spend with their heads, that Volkswagen, that was Hitler's company, is still, like, I think it's the best-selling car in the world right now. And it's and then Krupp's coffee makers, it was a company that made parts for the Nazi war machine.
Well, my thing growing up and it was a hard thing to talk about, but like I was in New York, we would go out to the Hamptons. I seemingly did not know a Jewish family that was not driving a Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
Or a Bavarian Motor Works car, BMW. And it was incredibly recent. Of course, I couldn't realize as a kid how recent it was, but we're talking the early 70s. And in the 40s, not only were they Nazi tanks and helping in a tremendous way the Nazi push to take over the world and to exterminate a race of people, but also on top of that, they worked Jews to death to build BMWs in the camps
and Volkswagens. Yep. Jesus.
It's such a blind spot, and I've said this before. And God, it's too bad I don't remember her name. But at Kilborn, which was 2000 to 2005, this black female comedian came on, and she was also bringing up how recent, like that her grandfather before he was a sharecropper, he was a child, and he was in a slave. He was on a plantation. He was a slave, and she's like, I can't believe I wear cotton.
Yeah.
And it was such a good point.
Yeah.
And
right.
this was from the 70s to the 40s, and it was obviously going on in the 60s also. Like, they didn't even change their name.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is interesting, though. I read ahead a little as I was making stuff up just now. It was, okay, in addition to his ambitious campaign to build a network of Autobahns and limited, Chris likes this because we're singing Hitler's his good side. Autobahns and limited access highways across Germany, Hitler's pet project was the development and mass production of an affordable yet still speedy vehicle that could sell for less than 1,000 Reichmarks, which is $140 at that time. To provide the design for this, quote, people's car, Hitler called in the Austrian and German automotive engineer Ferdinand Porsche.
No
shit. So I knew that because the Stouts were big fans. They had the old, the classic 1960s hippie vans, the VW bus.
Yeah.
And those were Porsche engines in there.
Yep. I remember when I was a parking attendant, parking a Porsche 944, and it had Volkswagen floor mats. So I think they shared ownership. Did you see the update from Denman on the C word?
Let's see it.
Right below.
The C word is everywhere right now, and not in a bad way. Now, I don't know if he copied and pasted that or that's Denman's view. It sounds like a Denman view. But anyway, it's one of the most diverse of words in the English language, and thanks to the LGBTQ community, it's having a moment. All right, let me find this phrase. It's co-opting taboo words, power, identity politics, blah, 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 a drag culture. Oh, yeah, RuPaul's Drag Race, I know, was in this. Yeah, this is the article I saw. All right. Oh, yeah, RuPaul released a song in 2017 called Charisma, Uniqueness, Nerve, and Talent, which spells the C word. Anyway, there's a saying, though, and I forget what it is, but it's one of the ways they use it in a positive way. Kind of like my daughters, I guess, who were saying something was so cunt.
Well, it seems like if they're going to take words away, there's a bunch of words you can't say anymore. They need to give us some back. There has to be an exchange.
Right.
We get cunt back. We should get what about the F word? Can we get that back?
Oh, serving? Is that what it really is, or is Chris just
Serving
trying to make me
cunt?
say this out loud?
That's funny. Serving cunt.
That's it. Serving cunt.
Yeah.
All right. Can we use it in a sentence? It sounds like we're at some Eyes Wide Shut party and now we're about to carve up a woman. I think a phrase like serving cunt is an affirmation. It's a form of recognition of having crossed a really difficult threshold of not just a beautiful look or a really well put together face of makeup, but a bigger question, she says. All right. Okay. I think we should couple it. What?
Speaking of cunt, we got a good cunt in the letters to the editor. You want to crinkle us into that?
Good transition.
All right. Glenn Sherrill.
Segues are for cunts.
Glenn Sherrill said among the texts and emails that came to light as a result of the Dominion lawsuit were some highly critical of management that Tucker Carlson also called women on the staff cunts.
All right. Well,
he described a senior Fox News executive as a C word. I don't think he was empowering women when he did that.
I sort of wish we didn't do this story because now I'm kind of liking the guy.
So then we got Daniel Stark says, this is not a correction, but a recommendation for corrective action. Haven't you said on numerous occasions how much you hate it when friends and family show up in your audience when you're filming a special? Wouldn't purchasing tickets to follow your cousin around the golf course and scream out tips and an occasional Baba Booey from the tee box go against your better instincts? Fan forever. Mike is not a douche. Was there as opposed to what? Are there people saying you're a douche?
I don't know. I don't know. It sounds fancy to me. I don't know what the word means, but it's French. I'll take it.
It cleans you up, makes you fresh. That's true, and I do have mixed feelings about following my cousin around. I think we haven't seen each other in 15 years, and as much as I follow his career, and I'm very excited for him, we have not rendezvoused. We've texted. We have a little text thing going. We've tried to meet up because he lives in the same town as my mom in Florida, but I don't think if I, from a distance, followed him in the crowd, he would not pick me out, and that's the only way I would do it. I would not say hello to him until after the round.
Having played golf for whatever it is, 2 years, I immediately knew, the best guys in the world have to be half robot.
Yeah.
Meaning spectrum.
Right.
It's like, my chip's off. Let me go hit 4,000 chip shots to get it right before tomorrow's tournament or whatever. Like, that's what it takes.
No, there's a series.
And to be focused on every one, that's the key. I can go out and hit 4,000 chip shots, but who knows where I'll be on the 80th one. On the 8th one, who knows where I'll be.
Oh, no, I hit a bucket of balls, and I can't even finish the bucket when I'm at the range. I'm like, I get bored. I can't keep doing it. But no, I think there's a docuseries made by the same people that did the F1 series about golf. I forget what it's called, but it really gets into, like, there's a guy, Fitzpatrick, who's a British golfer, who is apparently the hardest working guy on the tour. And this guy just never stops. He is just constantly practicing, has his whole life.
I think if you're the best in the world, like, there was some documentary, and I actually had not seen this that much, but they're like, you couldn't run into Hendrix without a guitar being in his hand. He brought it to cafes when he had like coffee while on tour. It was in the diner with him. He had it at restaurants. It was just an extension of his body.
Yeah.
And a physical identity like that he was not himself. I remember this is different, but it's a little interesting about how the mind works, and if that is a thing that your body is identifying, and it probably calms you, is we were doing a bit on Kilborn, and we had, who was the fat Yankees pitcher who pitched a no-hitter, and
Fernandez?
he was what?
Fernandez?
No, David Wells, yes. Oh. He was the greatest guy, partied. Oh, he was fantastic. So we had David Wells on, and he was a smart guy too, and we wanted it to read this joke, and there was a little nuance in it, and he couldn't do it. And Kilborn, on his desk, had this sculpture like of a hand, and to just make it stupid looking, he put a baseball in it. And I remember that baseball was on set, and without thinking, I went and got the baseball and I threw it up to him. And I'm like, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. I'm like, just, you can just fuck around with it, while we're doing takes. The first take he did while like massaging this baseball was flawless.
Uh-huh.
Like, didn't think about it, felt natural, felt loose. And I felt like a genius.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Oh yeah. He threw a perfect game, severely hungover is what, Chris has added here. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the obituary.
All right, here we go. Oh.
And that's all, folks.
All right, do you want me to read the one?
Read the one you have on your phone, because that one's better.
Dickie sent me one today that was pretty tight. It was well written, and this is, of course, about Tina Turner.
And Dickie, by the way, is the co-purveyor with his wife of Rosie's Bagels. Go to rosiesbagelsla.com. And if you live on the west side of LA, fresh Montreal-style bagels boiled in molasses, soft on the inside, crispy on the outside, all selection of different types, different spreads, locks. He brings it to your house, reasonable. Hit him up and get some bagels.
And if you mention Proud Mary, you get 6 free bagels. That's not true. Don't do it. They're not going to honor it. Okay. When Tina Turner left her husband, who was also her boss, captor, and brutal tormentor, she snuck out of their Dallas hotel room with a single thought in her mind. The way out is through the door. From there, she fled across the midnight freeway, semi-trucks careening past her with 36 cents and a mobile gas card in her pocket. As soon as she decided to walk out that door, she owned nothing else. When she filed for divorce, she made an unusual request. She didn't want anything. Not the song rights, not the cars, not the houses, not the money. All she wanted was the stage name he gave her, Tina, and her married name, Turner. This was the name by which the world had come to know her, and keeping it was her only chance to salvage her career. Things could have gone a lot of ways from there. She could have labored in obscurity for decades, maybe making records on small labels to be prized by vinyl connoisseurs in Portland. She could have stayed in Vegas, where she first went to get her chops back up, and worked as a nostalgia act. And of course, given what she had been through, she might have not made it. What happened instead is that Tina Turner became the biggest global rock star of the 80s. I'm old enough to barely remember this, but if you aren't, it was like this. The Rolling Stones would headline a stadium one day, and the next day it would be Tina Turner, a middle-aged black woman. She became a rock star at 42 years old, sitting atop the 80s like it was her throne. She managed this because of whatever rare stuff she was made of. This is a woman whose label gave her 2 weeks to record her solo debut, Private Dancer, which went 5 times platinum. Because she decided to speak publicly about her abusive marriage and forge her own identity, and in doing so give hope and courage to countless women, and also because, and perhaps an unlikely twist for a girl from Nutbush, Tennessee, she had her practice of Buddhism, to which she credited her survival. She remained devout until the end. Tina's second marriage, and to her only marriage, was to Edwin Bach, a Swiss music executive 16 years her junior. Of him, she said, Erwin, who is a force of nature in his own right, has never been the least bit intimidated by my career, my talents, or my fame. In 2016, after a barrage of health problems, Tina's kidneys began to fail. A Swiss citizen by then, she had started preparing for assisted suicide when her husband stepped in. According to Tina, he said he didn't want another woman or another life. He gave her one of his kidneys, buying her the remainder of her time on this earth, and perhaps closing a cycle which took her from a man who inflicted injury upon her to a man willing to inflict injury upon himself to save her from harm.
Wow, that's powerful.
Born into a sharecropping family as Anna Mae Bullock in 1939, she died Tina Turner in a palatial Swiss estate, the queen of rock and roll, a storm of a performer with a wildcat fierce voice, a dancer of visceral spine-tingling potency and ability, a beauty for the ages, a survivor of terrible abuse and an advocate for others in similar situations, an author, an actress, a devout Buddhist, a wife, a mother, a human being of rare talent and perseverance. I got that word right. Who, through her transcendent brilliance, became a legend. So she's amazing. And I hate to give Ike Turner kind of any attention, but when you go back, Spotify has amazing playlists. If you look up Ike and Tina Turner, they cover the Beatles like crazy. They do a version, she does a version of Whole Lotta Love that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, if you want to see something that makes your get fucking goosebumps, you go watch her live doing Proud Mary, the Creedence song. And it starts so slow and so soulful. And then when that song breaks, it's like nothing you've ever seen before. Ferocious.
I think, and she was so sexually provocative on stage. Like, she treated that mic stand famously, like a cock.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what it said in the obituary, but she would ride it. She was so seductive and also so unbelievably physical. And I think I might have this wrong on how it broke, but I think, occasionally over time, the Stones would speak sort of shittily of each other. And I think it was Keith Richards in an interview goes, Mick got every one of his moves from Tina Turner.
No shit.
And then they showed an interview where Mick Jagger was talking about Tina Turner. Ike and Tina Turner, I believe, were warming up for them. And by the way, this week Mick Jagger posted this really cool homemade video, 1969, backstage Madison Square Garden, where Keith Richards is playing and singing a blues song, and Ike and Tina are sitting right next to him, like in the bowels of Madison Square Garden. But in this interview, anyway, Mick goes, he couldn't stop watching her. So when they were on stage, and God, maybe I screwed it up and the Stones were warming up for them, but they were in concert at the same night, and Mick, every time they performed, couldn't leave the wings and just studied her moves.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I
there's
can
that.
see that with the
Yeah.
chest out. Yeah, I can see that.
And treating the microphone like a cock.
But she famously insured her legs back in the 80s. She had like
Yeah.
$1 million policy on her legs.
Mick
Great
Jagger
fucking
also
legs.
posted, when you see her, it's like, what? I mean, the music is just coursing through her. What would I guess it's on Twitter. But Jagger's posted a bunch about how nice she was to him early in his career and all that stuff. And, here it is. This picture, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's just someone who's 100% feeling it.
Yeah.
Look at the hair.
I know. Look at those legs. Unbelievable.
The picture we're talking about is, just go to Mick Jagger's Twitter account, and he posted all these amazing photos of her. Like, there they are together. And then and then they're later. She had a very, very,
they
very
did that
big
song.
influence on them.
Didn't they do Dancing in the Streets together in the 90s?
No, that was another very effeminate person, David Bowie.
Oh, right. All right, let's cheer up a little bit with the funnies.
You got it. Here we go.
All right, so our man Hager is bound next to his wife Helga, and there is a marauder with a bag full of their treasures, and he's holding, it looks like a garment in his hand, and Helga goes, "Just go." And he's going through Hager's pockets of his pants, and she goes, "I already checked his pockets." And then he, in the third frame, rapes Helga, which is animated, so it's not, it's not as offensive, but weird for a Sunday paper.
And Hager, after that comment, just let him go at it.
Yep.
What do you
Well,
mean,
he knows
check
it's
my
like
pockets?
it's part of medieval times. It's like, he takes your stuff, he fucks your wife, whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of a husband and wife that maybe are on the rocks, in the Lockhorns, Leroy is sitting in the armchair reading the paper. Helga's standing there with an apron on. He goes, "What do you mean, do I want crunchy or smooth? I thought you were making soup." She's not a good cook. And now they're on the couch together, and he says to her, "One day we'll look back on all this and regret we ever looked back on this."
I like that one a lot. He has the perspective. All right, here's a Far Side. I remember loving this one. It's an office, and on the window and the door, you can see it says career counseling. And a career counselor is sitting there reading, I guess, the resume and work experience of a guy who's sitting there holding his cowboy hat, and he has a very long beard, and he looks like a cowboy. And the counselor says, "Well, Mr. Cody, according to our questionnaire, you would probably excel in sales, advertising, slaughtering a few thousand buffalo, or market research." That's perfect.
Good. That's
Yeah.
great. This Blondie strip gave me so much hope. They're planting a seed, or maybe they're pulling back the curtain a little bit, but Dagwood is waking up alone in the bed. He's got his stupid donut pajamas, and he stretches and goes, "Yawn, rise and shine, Bumstead, time to make some memories. hold it. I've got 9 more minutes before my alarm goes off. My memory's going to hang on for another 9 minutes. And the other side of the bed does not look slept in. And I'm just thinking, is she at her mother's? Is she on the couch? What the fuck? But this asshole wakes up and doesn't even notice. What's the first thing you do when you wake up and you're married? You roll over, you look at your wife, you grab a tit, you snuggle up, you throw a move on her. He doesn't even notice, and then takes a nap. It's over. It's fucking over.
Says the guy who's listening to audiobooks next to his beautiful wife in bed, completely shut off, unaware, wishing she'd go get out of his reading room.
All I need is some donut pajamas.
Here's my hope. She roofied him to leave the house. She roofied him last night. He passed out. He's still is unaware. Look at him. He's unaware she's even gone, and she's over her boyfriend's house getting a good night.
Who is she gonna?
Which is so cunt.
What's the so cunt of her? I
Yeah.
wonder what the new boyfriend's going to be like. Is she going to go completely in the opposite direction? Is it going to be a manly man who's a big earner, who's a baller?
I'm thinking it's a manly man. Maybe he was the contractor on an addition they put on the house or something like that.
Right. But he's the
And
contractor.
He
didn't do
read the
work.
situation.
He oversaw the work, and he's going to throw some money behind her catering company and make it go worldwide. With her picture is the brand of the catering company.
That's hysterical.
All right, well, listen, we've done it again. We want to thank Midcoast Media, who does an amazing job every week. Chris Denman was on his game this week after taking off last week to go to a fucking wedding instead of being there for us.
I think we learned the secret. We put in more than one Hitler story, and this guy hangs on every word.
He really came alive.
Yeah. Reinvigorated.
And we're gonna see you guys next week. We'll both be in. I think I'll be in Los Angeles. You'll be in Los Angeles next
I'm
week.
Be in LA. Are we doing one in person?
Maybe an in person.
Wow.
Let's do it. It'll be June 3rd. It'll be the day after my father's 30th anniversary since he died.
Wow. And you just put down his golf clubs.
Last week. 2 weeks ago. Yep.
I think you're walking around with some guilt.
Yep. I still haven't gotten the hang of them yet. Maybe he's cursing me.
Dude, sold out show tonight. That's amazing.
2 shows and the show. I'm going to drink a lot of tea and honey today, drink a lot of water, and hope for the best. But this has been something. I hope I'm here often. I'd like to come back here often.
Wait, Chris is still, because he's still feeling such positive vibes from the Hitler stories. Chris just typed, "Are you on Rogan's podcast soon?" Before you answer that, Chris, one last request. Can you look up the drink that singers get at Starbucks for their sore throats? This is a thing.
Right.
It's something.
I've heard about
it's
that.
a bomb, maybe something bomb, but it has honey. It's perfectly designed for someone to keep their
Starbucks
voice.
In Austin. I don't know if Austin is too cool to have Starbucks.
I somehow doubt that.
Yeah.
Any place that has tried to be too cool for Starbucks is like, yeah, we've seen that before. We're coming in and you're going to be going to us. Honey, that's not it. It's like a custom order.
Yeah, it's got a nickname.
Yeah, it's got a nickname.
Starbucks location.
Starbucks.
All right, this is Starbucks 2 blocks from me in either direction. So I'm gonna go get that right now.
That's
grab
how
some
cool
lunch,
Austin is.
Send these files off, and I'll see you this week.
All right, man. Have a blast tonight. Say hello to everybody who I might know. Of course, Adam. And Denman's medicine ball. I think it's the medicine ball.
Okay, good.
I think. Try it.
All right.
All righty, kid. No more talking the rest of the day.
Silence.
Another way to say that is take it, Ish.
I'm going to take it easy.
No, don't do that. Whispering is harder on your voice. My mom was a speech therapist. She said whispering is harder on the voice than just talking low.
Take it easy.
Oh, God. All right, you don't know how to do it.
God bless.
Sunday, Sunday papers, Sunday, Sunday papers, Sunday, Sunday papers, Sunday, Sunday papers. Mike Gibbons drinks to Starbucks on the picket line. He's headed to the Fox lot, says the weather there is fine. Sunday, Sunday papers, Sunday, Sunday papers, Sunday, Sunday papers, Sunday, Sunday papers. Gibbons in the Actors Union says the struggle's all the same. He'll join you on your picket line and he'll jet set off to Spain. Sunday, Sunday papers, Sunday, Sunday papers, Sunday, Sunday papers, Sunday, Sunday papers. Greg's a good long union man and he doesn't take no shit. From a Baltimore hotel room scream, read all about it! Sunday, Sunday papers, Sunday, Sunday papers, Sunday, Sunday papers, Sunday, Sunday